This video is probably going to be a bit of a change of pace for me. Fuck off, Smokey. I wanted to talk to you about GameSpot, one of the longest running gaming sites I can remember. And there was a time when GameSpot was legit. I know it was a long time ago. Back when Grand Theft Auto 3 was going to be released. That was back in 2001. It seems crazy it's been that long. It seems really wild. But at that time, the internet was still kind of fresh and new for guys like me. It was still dial-up. And if you think the internet is slow now, you should have been around in the days of dial-up. Literally, it'd take a whole day to see a titty, okay? Like, you download a boob, a picture of a boob, not a video, a picture. You'd have to go outside and live your life for the entire day just to come back to see a quarter of the nipple. And seeing videos of gaming and video game trailers without having to get a demo disc was wild. It was new and strange. It was exciting and exhilarating. Granted, we had to wait a bit of time to see the video, you know, like we check back in 15-minute intervals, you know, you'd run off, come back, run off, come back. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. Oh, we can see a whole 10 seconds. Oh, time to wait another 15 minutes for 10 more seconds. That's how slow it was. But at the time, it didn't matter because it was so fresh and new. And GameSpot was specifically dedicated to gaming. Even IGN, believe it or not, I'm going to blow your mind here, but there was a time when IGN was about fucking video games, dude. None of the bullshit you see today with IGN. All the celebrity news and gossip, movie garbage. You know, Lindsay Lohan on there for some godforsaken reason. No, these things didn't exist. And at that time, there was a better community. There was even a community in GameSpot. But now, I can't fucking be bothered to log into any of this stuff, to even be on the forums, because it's so sad. GameSpot is dying. There's no shadow of a doubt. The people who are in control of GameSpot, I don't really hold the people who work there responsible. I hold the people who control the site responsible for destroying it. Even up until a few years ago, like 3 or so, GameSpot was still kind of viable. But as time went on, all the best people left or were fired. Mark Walton comes to mind as one of the guys who came in. He came in later, and he brought PC gaming to GameSpot. Before then, they really didn't cover PC hardware. But then Mark Walton came in, and I remember as a PC gamer, I found what he had to say and do interesting. It's like, oh, this is a change of pace. GameSpot trying to evolve.
Hey guys, Mark from GameSpot here, and I'm here today to talk to you about the wonders of PC gaming, or rather how you can cast off the shackles of the closed proprietary systems of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and give yourself access to a bigger, cheaper, and more eclectic library of games. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, sure Mark, PC gaming is great and all, but consoles are way cheaper than a decent gaming PC, STFU dude. Well, that's what we're here today to put to the test. Is it possible to build a gaming PC for the same price as an Xbox One, which costs around $550 when you include US sales tax? And if so, will it run games as well?
Mark Walton's fucking gone. Like, one day he was just up and gone. No explanation. No more Mark Walton. No, like, I'm sure they still do PC stuff, but whatever. He went to Ars Technica. GameSpot even did something funny and witty for a second, but odds are it was probably, Johnny. He called himself Johnette. You know, he was a hipster. All right, Johnny, Johnette, whatever the fuck. His name is spelled Johnny, but he calls it Johnette. Despite my disdain for hipsters, he had an interesting premise, Feedbackula, where essentially GameSpot would review games and you'd see the anger and vitriol of the community exploding into these hilariously like reread reenactments of the comments by other members of GameSpot.
In fact, as the number 9 out of 10 kind of suggests. A lot of you, however, were absolutely furious. Don't believe me? Let's take a look, because it was about the only thing approaching funny to go on in the comments section this week.
9? This is preposterous!
I hate GameSpot, stupid GameSpot. F you!
GameSpot, I'm never coming here again. F you, GameSpot, you low-life gaming media site. What a fucking embarrassment you are. Unsubscribed will be a very popular comment on this video. LOL at you.
off. This game is a 10 out of 10. F off. F off.
A 9? Are you f***ing serious? This game has been in production and planned for over 5 years. It deserves a 10. No wonder IGN's better than you idiots.
It was great. It was funny. It was interesting. And then one day, Feedbackula, gone. There was like, this is our goodbye episode. I think John A left. Or John A. Why am I even buying into that? Johnny left. That was it. And I could sit there and think it was like, they got something good here and it's gone. Just like that. I remember the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week with Cam and Seb. I mean, granted, I was modding Skyrim on my own, but occasionally I'd check in to see what they were doing, and they were funny and interesting and entertaining.
Oops. A single jump time?
Single jump.
No, he can't.
He can't.
He can't. So
Can
there
he
you
double
go.
jump a horse?
Horse scaling is now allowed. Oh, wait, maybe not.
I said horse scaling is now.
Yes! You go, Kevin.
Yes.
Single jump, it gets you onto the wall.
Yeah, not
All right.
good enough.
Here we go. Double jump. Oh!
Believe in yourself.
Yes, yes, kind
Okay.
of.
Yeah, perfect.
Technical victory.
Yeah, the best kind of victory.
As you were, sir.
That's your fault.
Yeah. Jump all the way to the world.
He's kind of got his haters gonna hate like arms out, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
and what?
Whatever. Kevin does love to listen to Taylor Swift, incidentally.
Then they were gone. Cam and Seb have moved on to YouTube, where on occasion they post videos, but often you could go anywhere from 1 to 3 months without them making something new. So it's kind of a crapshoot to me. And in the terms of YouTube, if you aren't at least uploading weekly, you're kind of not really burning out the world in YouTube terms. But also, I forgot to take note of and point out that Cam was also behind Reality Check, which was an insanely popular show that looked at the possibilities of some of the things you saw in video games and comic books and seeing if there was any real world application to them. It was quite interesting, actually. I mean, for anyone that was truly thinking about jumping off of a high building into like some fucking wheat from Assassin's Creed, Cam probably saved the lives of a billion idiots with that one episode alone. Can you really jump into some hay? Wow, I fucking made Cam like a fucking street urchin from a goddamn Charles Dickens novel. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Whenever I try to do an English accent, I become like a fucking ragamuffin from the streets.
Between PS4, Xbox One, and PC, just by looking at the graphics. With all the excitement that erupts every time a developer utters the words resolution, frame rate, or, heaven forbid, upscaling, you'd hope that these differences would actually matter to the point that we, the humble gamer, could spot them. Now, if you watch a graphics comparison video where the footage is labelled and lined up side by side, then sure, there is usually a clear difference in the quality or look of the visuals. But then this is a graphics comparison, a video designed to highlight these differences. But what if we were to strip all of that away?
That show was given to Lucy James. I know once he left, she took it over. But honestly, I don't even know if Lucy James is on GameSpot anymore, or if Reality Check is made anymore. Yeah, last thing I saw of her was she was with some other guy, and they were trying to do like those live streams and reaction videos on GameSpot. And I thought to myself, could anyone think of anything new to do that wasn't already on YouTube?
Seb, do the Gamescom song.
Okay.
Gamescom. Gamescom.
And then came Daniel Dwyer. Within a short period of time, he became almost the face of GameSpot. He was daring, he was courageous, and he was willing enough to say what he really felt. And unlike most reviewers that we've come accustomed to on GameSpot, he seemed to genuinely care about gaming.
Over 13,000 of Yogcast fans backed the project, and yesterday, over 13,000 people around the world found out it was canned and that they wouldn't be getting any refunds.
So it turns out Wintercool Games was actually a team that at its largest was merely 6 contributors, being managed by a single guy. A guy who, according to a post made on Yogcast forums last week, had a lack of experience in planning and managing a project of this scope, and was so burdened and stressed out by the project that he lost his wife, and I quote, "I almost lost my job too." He almost lost his job? Why did he have a job? Wasn't his job to make this video game with this team of veterans of film and game companies that had $500,000 in funding?
And I think that's what resonated with people the most. You were not going to find any really crappy posts by Daniel Dwyer. Maybe on a few occasions he did some clickbaiting because I guess you had to on GameSpot, as you had to meet a certain quota of views and so on and so forth for the lobby. And in fact, the lobby was Danny O'Dwyer in my opinion. The second he left, it was as good as dead. What little integrity GameSpot had, it went out the door with him. And as soon as he posted a video on his YouTube channel, he just sort of laid his cards bare.
We now have 3 major game sites, all of which cover movies. A lot of them cover comic books, a lot of them cover television shows. I mean, they're covering celebrities. It won't be too far. We'll have current events and sports on IGN, GameSpot, and maybe even Polygon as well. And I guess Kotaku also do some of this stuff as well. That is a direct result of the lowering amount of money in advertising. It hasn't anything to do with quality reporting. It hasn't anything to do with the quality of the work. I mean, it has something to do with it, but there is a sort of a diminishing returns when you're employing this many people, and when you have a company this large, and when you have a company. All these companies are owned by larger companies, and they need higher returns. It's not enough to just keep the sort of lights on. So what we have is another. It's almost the same problem we had when I was growing up, where the people who are representing games now don't represent games either, because they're talking about things that have nothing to do with games, sort of under the guise or under the auspices of this is geek culture or whatever. But like, really, it's being done for financial reasons at the end of the day. And my problem with the way the games coverage is going is that everything that's happening with it, every sort of evolution, is based on the limiting business factors, not based on what's good, not based on, you know, creative innovation or good video ideas or anything like that. They're chasing trends. They're chasing let's play trends. They're chasing personality trends, right? This big push towards personality on game websites. They're just following in the footsteps of what's happened on YouTube and what's happened on Twitch. It would be okay in my mind if that was based because of my stupid Puritan idea that people who work in games should care about games and should use the access that we have in the press to make stuff that gamers care about, because gamers don't have the access that we have.
And everything that you assumed was wrong, everything that you didn't like, everything you felt was fucked, Danny confirmed. But before that, Danny was a gamer who cared about gaming. In an era where most faces in gaming were in the whole faking positivity and happiness or enthusiasm for things to get views and to get people to like them, you wouldn't find that with Danny O'Dwyer. That man was a gamer. He was a Jose Canseco, the Ken Griffey Jr., the Valentino Rossi, the giant midget. And in the end, I can honestly say that Danny O'Dwyer, right now, is pretty much the paragon of virtue when it comes to game reviews, when it comes to gaming journalism in general, as far as a true insider. Now, you can tell me about Total Biscuit and so on and so forth, but these guys, they don't have their foot in the door. Therefore, they don't really have something to lose. And the bigger they get, the more carte blanche and freedom they have. Think of it kind of like Salvador Dali in the existentialism movement. You know, the Salvador reference is probably far too vague, and I'd have to go into great detail about the existentialist art movement to make my point valid or even somewhat coherent to most people who couldn't give a fuck less. So, as I said, I will not wax poetically on about Danny O'Dwyer any longer and move on to Kevin Vanord. Kevin Vanord was another great reviewer on GameSpot. Some people didn't like him. I personally did. Not that I agreed with everything he said, but I found and valued many of his reviews. In fact, his review on Dragon Age Origin is what pushed me to buy the game, and it was probably one of the best RPGs I ever played. Kevin Vanord's take and passion for gaming was clearly evident in everything he did. Kevin Vanord actually began, if I recall correctly, as a forum member on GameSpot before moving up to becoming a reviewer and editor. His work spoke for itself. It was obvious that he was very verbally dexterous and capable of conveying his feelings, thoughts, and emotions on a level that we could all relate to, thus making him one of the more beloved members of GameSpot, in my personal opinion. After a while, I assumed that Kevin Vanord moved on to bigger and better things. He became the English writer for a Korean MMO, Tryon World or something like that. I think he's doing something else now. I briefly saw a snippet of it. I can't remember verbatim off the top of my head, and I'd rather this be an honest feeling towards GameSpot's demise rather than me fact-checking everything and trying to make it seem as if I'm more knowledgeable about the situation than I actually am.
Go fuck yourself. Gundam, you're lazy.
Carolyn Petit was also a member of GameSpot, little known to a few people. From what I could tell, Carolyn wasn't met with much fanfare at all, as far as reviews and such goes. There were some people who liked her, but there was a vast majority that did not. And she has since moved on to working with Anita Sarkeesian and Feminist Frequency. And anyone up to date, I guess you could say, anyone up to date, anyone relatively current on the whole Feminist Frequency shenanigans knows how shady that business practice currently is, so I'll leave it at that to try not to be biased. Mary Kish is another popular GameSpot regular face personality that is leaving. In fact, this information has just dropped 10 days ago. If you go to her YouTube page, you can see a video that she just put up. It only has 700 views currently, but I'm sure it'll jump up. It summarizes her GameSpot experience in 3 years in 6 to 5 minutes.
GTA on PC hasn't been out for too long, but the mods are already starting to come out, Rob. He's not allowed to do it when he's watching.
I'm trying not to. Put your hands down. Not the car! Not the... God damn it!
You think I don't know about Cindy? Man, Arkham Knight is going to be the first in the Rocksteady Studios trilogy to get an M for mature rating. Because they're going to say fuck in it. Fuck. Hey, Mary here with the GameSpot News Update. Today it was announced that Sean is a huge motherfucker.
Xbox Gold or PlayStation Plus.
Oh my God.
Josh, what do I do?
You're gonna have to jump.
Now, there were many shady points during GameSpot's rapid decline into the abyss. For instance, sometimes games got scores that were way higher than they deserved. The paid advertisement on the site was just enough to make anybody cringe. God, I remember when Battlefield Hardline came out, and Chris Waters was saying, he said in a video, "I was having fun with Battlefield Hardline, fun I haven't had since Bad Company 2. And at that point I knew, you know, something's wrong here, because Battlefield Hardline is nowhere near Bad Company 2. Battlefield Hardline is trash. It is a horrible game. And it was proof that it was horrible because the user base for Battlefield Hardline dropped off almost as bad as Titanfall 1. And then there was the more recent debacle of GameSpot giving No Man's Sky a fucking 7. That game was unabashedly horrible. The user metrics for it were so low it wasn't funny. But still, GameSpot's trying to tell you that it was good. This also led to a great deal of disillusionment in the community. And the further I delve into this, the deeper I get, the more it just seems like the parent company, CBS, is just cannibalizing GameSpot. It's destroying this website. And if it continues on this path, either GameSpot will no longer exist, or it'll turn into something that has absolutely nothing to do with gaming. Sort of like how G4 became Esquire magazine. That was another great channel. It's better as Tech TV, but you know, whatever. And the corporate entity got its hands on this. And it took all those shows that were good, like Let's Play, Attack of the Show, and it shoehorned in the more attractive girl that later became Olivia Munn, right? That really shitty actor. I mean, she's good looking, but she's a crud actress, whatever. And they just kept pushing it into this homogenized piece of crap that no longer applied to a gamer. No longer applied to the audience that was interested in it. And they kept pushing and pushing and pushing until they killed it. And then just took it and turned it into something else. And guess what? I'm pretty sure it's fucking dead now. I was done with G4 when Adam Sessler was gone. X-Play became crap. When Attack of the Show got horrible. It was just like, I saw the writing on the wall. And there wasn't anything I could do but vote with my viewership. And that's what I've been doing thus far with GameSpot. Pretty much voting with my lack of paying attention to the site. What used to be something I frequented every day, I now maybe check. I've been on it a couple times today trying to make this video. I've been working on this video for 2 days. Believe it or not, I'm not an editing genius. I'm no Martin Scorsese. But anyway, being on the past 2 days was the first time I bothered with that site in months. And the only thing that's changed is it's getting worse with time. There are other faces that were on GameSpot that were major contributors on and off the screen, whose names I do not have privy to me right now. I had some of them. There were other online personalities that people would recognize, so I do apologize. There is so much here that is worthy of notice and pointing out, but I must admit that I've become quite weary doing this, and the deeper I get, the more upset and disheartened I become with GameSpot in this situation. So I think I'm done with the site completely after this. I hope this helped somebody. I hope it gave you some insight into what happened to some of your favorite on-screen personalities, if you even remember them or cared. If you remember what GameSpot was before all of this horrible crap. And I know I didn't touch on the whole paid subscription BS they had going on from 2006 up to what, 2013? That was a fucking joke. And that led to a lot of anger in the community. I do remember that. And I apologize for not really digging into it, but I wanted to focus on the people that made GameSpot worth going to, worth paying attention to and taking interest in, and how they're no longer there. Therefore, GameSpot is now a withered husk of what it once was. And I thank you for your time. And I didn't want this video to be this long. I had no idea this would happen. Believe me. Like, the last thing I want to do is make this video this long and render it for the next God knows how many hours. I'm gonna like put it on the rendering. I'm gonna render it, and then I'm gonna walk away in another room, and I'll lay on the kitchen floor and start screaming, "Kill me! Kill me, please! Danny O'Dwyer, help!" Oh well, enough jokes and enough bullshitting around. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe if you want to. You know, I can't ask you to ever give more of a fuck than I do. And if you feel like sharing my shit, feel free. And that way I can be the Che Guevara of YouTubes. Once again, thanks for your time, and adios, bichachos.